Phobias and hypnotherapy. Now, hypnotherapy is especially well suited to phobias, fears, and traumas. Specifically with phobias, most people understand that their phobia is excessive, but simply knowing that does not help them. To become clients, they have the realization that their knowing in their conscious mind needs to be communicated to their subconscious mind. This is an insight they have that leads them to take our sessions in the first place. Yet they can still have some initial objections, even if they've had the insight to research and approach us for hypnotherapy. There are 3 major objections you can notice that can stop people from following through and actually having sessions. So we need to address these objections up front. So we provide the Overcome Fear Strategy audio recording as a free download before they do an intake form, interview, or buy the sessions. The 3 initial objections that prevent people from coming for hypnotherapy sessions on their fear are given starting on the first page of the Overcome Fear Strategy audio document. In summary, these objections are: my fear or phobia can't be fixed. Secondly, I'm afraid to try and fix it. And 3, even a fear of success. I'm afraid of what will happen if I do fix it. I lay out rebuttals to all of these objections that can enable them to go ahead and actually fill out the intake form, send it into us, and follow through with sessions. So go read these now and be prepared to reiterate them in discussion with the client. Limiting beliefs and subconscious tendencies are the basis of the initial objections. The Overcome Fear Strategy audio also calls these out as part of defining the real issue and refining it so we have a firm starting point. Many people do and prefer to live with the limitation of a phobia or the residues from emotional trauma, and they avoid the risk of seeking a solution, which doesn't make sense, but there is the phrase, better the devil you know. You can read these now too. Effects of phobias. Phobias can be very limiting. To avoid potential triggers, people will limit the activities they do and the places they go. They will often live with limitations for decades and only come for hypnotherapy when it has a very serious cost to their livelihood or to their loved ones. We elicit the limitations or negative side effects for each client. This acts as leverage to overcome their reluctance to finally face their fear. They become more afraid of not overcoming the fear than they are of facing the fear. The initial objections and limiting beliefs demotivate the client and can prevent them from addressing the issue. Once we have addressed these demotivating factors, we can move on to eliciting their inner motivations to take the sessions and overcome the fear. Secondary effects of phobias. People often have related events with related emotions besides the initial root cause event. So this can be a feeling about the feeling. They can feel a shame for the fear that they have, or a guilt that they have when they lash out due to their fear. Or they can feel anger at those they blame for throwing them into the root cause event, or those that think it's funny to trigger their phobic response by making a joke like throwing a plastic snake at them. So we can deal with some of these secondary emotions. So that can include things like forgiving the father for what he did to you and getting forgiveness from your son for what you did to him when you're in the midst of a phobic reaction. This is partly why we do offer the 3-session program. Now you'll see that there are people that offer fast phobia cures in one session, but they tend to focus on the very narrow, singular, phobic root cause event. So we stick with our 3-session program to cover all bases.